guys, this is Alexi with Rock and Roll Tennis Camps, and today I'm gonna answer Razmik's question, who is asking in junior tennis. He's seen a lot of kids during the rally as their opponent hitting the ball, they don't prepare well and therefore frequently late. So he's basically asking what to do to avoid that and be able to cover the ball and be kind of ahead in the rally movement wise. So Razmik, thank you for the question. So to answer it, I'm going to divide it into four pillars. So pillar number one is a straight up physical ability in your fitness level, how quick you are and how strong you are and so forth. So that's the first one. Second one will be what I call you're gonna be syncing yourself with your feet to the frequency of your opponent. So that's two. Number three, you gotta pick a right footwork pattern to get to the ball the quickest that you can. And number four is a shot recognition and being able to read your opponent. So I'll just take them one at a time. So first one is the most basic and most self-explanatory. To play tennis at a pretty decent level, you have to be a very good athlete. So which means you got to spend significant time training off court. So when I was growing up in Siberia in training, during my junior years, I would spend between 30 minutes to 1 hour per day after practicing twice, two tennis practices for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then I will do fitness, a lot of plyometrics, a lot of explosive jumps, so about 30 minutes to 1 hour each day. And then on Saturdays I would not play tennis at all. I would just do fitness only for 2 hours. So that was my regimen. Then I went to academy in Italy when we had a professional strength and fitness coach just for us for tennis, and we would do 2 practices of tennis for 2 hours and an hour and a half of fitness after the second practice. So obviously fitness, it's not a secret, everybody knows it. Nowadays tennis players are extremely fit. They can cover court like nobody's business. It's absolutely non-negotiable to play. So that's just a main just like a main level, like you have to be quick enough to get around. Okay, so let's just assume, so that's the first pillar, you got that one in the bag. So then let's move to the second one. The second one is what I call, you got to be syncing yourself to the opponent. So by that I mean a couple of things. So your first thing is you're always in motion. So the way I think about it, and I describe it to people, if you were a boxer and if you stand flat-footed, the chances are very high you get punched right in the face. So here it's basically not as physically violent and not as physically dangerous, but it's the same result. So if you ever find yourself waiting on flat feet, you're pretty much you're already done. So if that ball is gonna come just anywhere away from you, chances of you running like a really good fast quick start of flat feet is 0. So your first defense against that is you always lighten the feet. So in addition to that, not only you lighten the feet between shots, you also watch the opponent very closely. As soon as they hit the ball, you'll do a split step. So the only time your heels can touch the ground is during the shot. So you're moving, the opponent hits the ball, you split step, you get to it, you plant, swing, go back to movement, split step, hit, split step. So basically, once the rally starts, it's non-stop. It's a non-stop movement. So you have to always customize yourself to each ball. So if that customization breaks down, you're all of a sudden too far from the ball, you cannot swing fast. So that's that's the number 2. You sink in yourself. You're watching opponent very closely. They hit the ball. You split step. Now you can have a much quicker start, and that's the whole purpose of a split step is to change direction very fast. So you become much more responsive to opponent's shots. Okay, so that's 2. Number 3, you have to be able to choose the right footwork pattern. So here, when I was taught back in the 80s and 90s, what they used to say, shuffle to the ball, then you hit it, and then you shuffle back. So if you do that on a high level, you will not even get to the ball, because shuffling is nothing else but jumping. So if I challenge you to a 100-meter sprint, you will not choose shuffling ever. What you will choose is running. So running is our fastest means of covering the ground. So if I am standing in the middle and that's a running forehand, I will never choose shuffling because it's super slow. By the time you take a couple shuffle steps, the ball is not gonna wait for you. It's gonna fly right by you. So instead, what you will take, you do a split step, and you gotta turn, and you gotta go into running format. Because if you can get there early enough, you can actually set up and do much more aggressive shot rather than like barely get into it. So that will be the difference of choosing right pattern, and vice versa. So once you're done, the recovery will be cross. So that's gonna be your getting out of the corner, and then split step. And again, you're gonna be reset much faster. So you're cutting your time to get to the ball and cutting time to get out, which gives you more time. So you're kind of constantly ahead of the curve while the rally is going. Okay, so last one is probably the least talked about. And this one takes knowledge of the game and a lot of experience. So the first part of it is so I broadly call it you have to read a situation and your opponent. So here's what I mean by read the situation. There's a good example. Let's just say I went to the corner. I'm hitting cross court. What I will never do, and a pro tennis player will never do, they will never recover all the way to the middle. So you will recover just to the side. So you're still away from the middle. So that's because the most of the time you hit cross court, the most frequent response will be another cross court. So you almost like cheating towards that side already. And if they hit down the line, they'll have to hit incredibly well for you not to get it. So you're almost taunting them to go there because that's a low percentage. It's a higher part of the net. So if they mishit it down the line, you're still gonna get it with a pretty good shot. Unless they hit absolute screamer, you're pretty safe. But the cross court is where the vast majority of the balls are gonna be responded. So that's where you're covering already. So you're cheating that way. So that's like a situational, like when I talk to my students, I often use a poker analogy. So every shot in tennis, it's either high percentage choice or it's a low percentage choice. So cross court will be the most safe choice, which is why it's chosen most frequently. It's a high percentage of execution. Down the line is a low percentage of execution. So if the opponent is that good and they can execute that down the line shot time after time over high part of the net, and it's a lower percentage shot, then they're just better than you. So I'll be okay with that. But don't let them beat you with an easy shot. So that's just like you have to have a just broad understanding of what from each situation, what opponent can do, what's their kind of a most go-to shot as far as the percentages go, and which shot you don't really need to cover because it's so difficult. Just let them hit it. If they can hit it, just so be it. They're just gonna win. But you cover the shots of like a most mainstream. So in the last one, it's also with the recognition and reading has to do with the opponent themselves. So this one will take understanding of how technique works and also a lot of practice. So I already mentioned earlier, when you do a split step, you're watching the opponent and you sync yourself to their contact point. But there's just one reason why you watch an opponent. The other reason, you're gathering a lot of intelligence on how they get ready. So here's a good example, a very obvious one. Let's just say you hit to their forehand and they did not turn their shoulders. Okay, so they're just waiting like this. So from this position, your chances of hitting down the line, well, are 0. So if I see my opponent not turned at all, they're already like this, so the only shot they can hit is naturally occurring cross court. So I would not even cover down the line. If they're gonna attempt to hit it, they're probably gonna miss a lot of times, or it's gonna be extremely slow shot I don't have to like even get ready for. I'm just gonna get it anyways because it's so slow. Versus if they're a very good player, they're gonna coil, and from this position they can hit anywhere. So that's a different story. Now you have to respect their ability. You know, they theoretically can hit down the line or down the line or cross court equally well. And down the line it's still a lower percentage, but they can hit it with this stance. So I can't really tell where they're gonna go. So and there's lots of cues like that. If you watch an opponent, you can pick up on their shoulder turn, on their footwork accuracy, where they're hitting the ball, tons of stuff. Their take back, lots of things, and that's where the knowledge of technique would come in. You gather in that in a split second, and you can already with a high likelihood tell where they're gonna go just by how they prepare, where's the ball, how difficult their location, and how much running they have to do. All of that combined together kind of gives you, okay, there's a very, very high likelihood they're gonna hit this way, and then that's how you base it on that. That's how the pros play. They're extremely good. Obviously, they've been playing for a long time, and they know how to read. So it always seems like they're in the right place because they're very good at reading. They know all the percentages, and they also very fast. So between all of those things, and they obviously do split steps every single time. There's not a single time the opponent hits the ball they're not gonna do a split step. And that's what the kids need to learn and be in a constant habit of. All those 4 things are gonna have to be there. If one of those things if one of those components a little bit off, you got to be at a disadvantage. You're gonna misread where the ball is, and some of it takes some practice. You have to kind of learn how certain balls bounce. That kind of comes with territory. You see slice bounces different from a topspin, but the reading opponent is a very big one. You can see if they take the racket back open, obviously that's not going to be a topspin shot, which means it's probably not going to come super fast. Okay, versus the take back for the forehand, the topspin forehand is going to look completely different. So all that combined into one is how you get to the ball at the right time with the most aggressive swing you can possibly make. So I hope this answers your question, Razmik. Please let me know if you need me to clarify either one of those 4 pillars. But I think that's it. With that being said, go rock the courts.